I'm ready. You can go now, Pastor.
Okay, this is our first prayer, and this is the first poem will be the train that went to hell. The train was crammed from the front to the rear. The devil himself was the engineer. The plea for life I can almost hear on the hell-bound train. There were men and women among the crowd, the high, the low, the meek, and the proud. There were beautiful women and handsome men who had gambled their soul for the price of sin. There were rich men, mostly wealthy, among the crew. There were deacons, there were church members, and ministers too. There were elders on crutches, and others on canes.
Wow.
You don't forget about all trapped within the hell-bound train. There were men of all races, men of great name, men of sound knowledge and wisdom and fame. There were men of all creeds, the young and the old, who had gambled with Satan for the price of their soul. They were all in the aisle and packed in their seats, and it was tied with chains, both hands and feet. The windows and all other doors were chained. There was no escape from the hell-bound train. Satan took his seat, and the journey began to eternal damnation for the result of sin. Now, one of the prisoners among the crowd gathered the strength to say, Satan, what have we done that we deserve to be treated in such a way? What have we done, cried the other, that we deserve to be punished by you? Well, I'll tell you, said the devil. You did what I told you. You have lived the way I told you to live and said all I told you to say. And unfortunately, that is why your souls are lost today. But Satan, you said we'll never be lost if we gave our lives to you. Well, of course I did, the devil sneered. What else was I to do? And then he laughed, an awful laugh, and made his body shake, and threw his head back on his shoulders, and tears of joy streamed down his face. But Satan said, one, you said I was too young to give up the pleasure of life. You said I should wait. When I got old, I could give my heart to Christ. Sound like I heard that before. You told me, said the wealthy, that I was too rich and I didn't need God's grace. You said if I gave him all that I had, then my wealth would go to waste. You told me, said the hardy, that I was too proud to humble myself to Christ. You said I could do without him, and I didn't need him in my life. I lied, said the devil, and you were all fools to heed my words and obey. And indeed, I have been most clever. I have blinded you in this way. Why, friend, you have been faithful. You endured to the end. And you really haven't heard to call me friend. You have labored hard in the way of sin. You hardened your heart and closed your eyes and shut your ears to the word of God. You have worshipped me. Is this not true? So as faithful servant, I must pay you. You have finished your course. so I will carry you through. After all your service, that's the least I can do. And then he laughed, an awful laugh that made his body shake, and threw his head back on his shoulder, as tears of joy streamed down his face. But Satan, you told us, much too plain, that this would never be. Then you were fools, the devil sneered, to put your trust in me. And so I have deceived you and brought you to this fate. At last, you are waking up. And now, it's too late. For when Christ desired to save your soul, you turn your back on him. And because you did, you cannot live. For death is the price of sin. Mercy, Satan, mercy. Came the million cried, but Satan laughed and simply said, mercy am I. You had your chance. You made your choice. You choose to live for me. Now, give me one good reason why I should set you free. But they cried still all the louder, please have mercy on our soul. But Satan turned to his answer, and his voice was hard and cold. Why should my heart be softened and surrender to your cry, when the Bible told you plainly that the soul that sins shall die? And then he laughed an awful laugh that made his body shake, and threw his head back on his shoulder, and tears of joy streamed down his face. But they cried, just give us time to fix our heart and to change our mind. But he answered, when you were called to bow, you wouldn't take heed. It's too late now. He laughed, and his soul and his body shook. He laughed with all of his might, for they struggled in vain to loosen their chain. But Satan had bound them real tight. They cried and they pleaded. They screamed and they moaned. They begged and they panicked. They shrieked and they groaned. There was never a more heartbreaking sound than the plea from the souls on the train, hell-bound. And I can see the devil grin when he laughed and said, because you have sinned, you shall die. Now the train moved on at an awful pace, as hot winds scorched their hands and face, when out of the distance rolled such a yell. Oh, look, cried the devil, we are nigh near hell. And then how the prisoners screamed in pain and begged the devil to stop the train. Some peered out of the window at the horrible sight, for ahead in the distance, great smoke filled the night. And in that despair, some fell to their knees and begged the devil to set them free. Others knelt down and began to pray. But it was too late, for now they must pay for the work which they have done. We are almost there, said the devil, and now in the distance they saw the flames ahead. And they twisted and pulled and struggled in vain, for their hands were tied and their feet were chained.